Anaina ora yawete. Today we'll talk about an interesting topic, I think, which is the topic of time and space. More specifically, we'll look at how indications about space and about time are put into words. In order to get there where we are now, it was necessary to cover the topics of lista and qualifiers first. If you haven't seen those videos yet, I would recommend looking at those first. So, to make indications about space or time in Ælis, we need to introduce one new root word. This root word is da, and it means axis. Let's begin with spatial indications. Each word for a spatial indication has a base structure of 4 parts. The first part is the root word an, to indicate that we're talking about a place. What kind of place? An axial place, as we can derive meanwhile. Of course, that's not a very insightful word. Yet. In between an and da, a liska is placed to indicate which axis we're talking about. The fourth and final part of this course structure is a qualifier, which, as we know, consists of one liska plus the root word ra, meaning extent. The qualifier identifies one of 5 points on each individual axis. Imagine the XYZ graphs used in math to represent 3-dimensional space. That is kind of how you should also visualize the Ælis system. The root word an informs that we're talking about a place. A liska with the root word da tells us which dimension we are referring to, and the qualifier indicates which point on the axis is implied. Let's have a look. The first axis is anaida, or the x-axis. Without qualifiers, anaida is also the word for horizontal. This axis ranges from left to right. Anaida ara means far left or leftmost. Anaida aira means left. Anaida era means not left nor right, but in the middle. Anaida ira means right. And finally, anaida ora means far right or rightmost. The second axis, aneda, corresponds to the mathematical y-axis and means vertical. It ranges from bottom to top. Aneda ara means deep down or bottom. Aneda aira means down or below. Aneda era means not down nor up, but in the middle. Aneda ira means up or above. And finally, aneda ora means high up or top. The third axis, anida, is the mathematical z-axis, which ranges from back to front. In analogy with the previous examples, we now get anida ara, anida aira, anida era, anida ira, and anida ora, or far back, back, middle, front, and far front. For the z-axis, you should imagine that when you're talking, you're standing at the position of anida era. Everything that is in front of you or ahead of you is anida ira and anida ora. Everything behind you is anida aira and anida ara. I probably spent more time than I should have on getting this stick figure into the video, but on the other hand, how cool is a stick figure speaking to you in Ælis? Admit it, it's pretty cool. So anyway, even though the world we live in is 3-dimensional, there are a few other axes in the Ælis system. The fourth axis, anoda, is used to describe an inward-outward position. Anoda ara means deep inside. Anoda aira means inside. Anoda era, again, is not inside nor outside, but in the middle. You would use this word to describe standing on a doorstep or something going through the window, for example. Continuing. Anoda ira is out or outside, and anoda ora is far out. Visualized, it would look something like this. There is also an axis with the liska for 0, which is anada. This axis is called the absolute axis and is used for the words of the cardinal points. Another aira is the first point, which is north. Another era is the second point, or east. Another ira is south, and another hora is west. There is one vacancy in this grid, which is the absolute zero. You can use another ara to describe the position of the pin holding the needle in the middle of your compass. Also on this axis, lista can be combined to be more specific. Another era would be northeast, another ira is southeast, another hora is southwest, and another hora would be northwest. These are all the axes in the spatial system, but there is one more axis that is at least equally important as the other ones, and that is a temporal axis hasta. The first lista is dropped for this axis because there is only one axis of time. It ranges from past to future. Hasta era, the middle position of these, is the present. The lower positions refer to the past. Hasta era for the recent past, and hasta ara for the far past. Evidently, the remaining points refer to the future. Hasta ira is the near future, and hasta ahora is the far future. Hasta ahora can also be used to mean all that is left to come, or simply eternity. And in analogy, hasta ahora can be used to mean all that is history. So as you can see, the qualifier and lista system holds tremendous possibilities if you play your cards right. After all, we only needed one simple root, the root da, and we created over 30 new words with it. I sincerely hope you're slowly getting a feel for the way Ælis works, and that you're starting to have fun with it as well. Stay tuned!